The federal government today unveiled a 7-year plan to improve the lives of autistic Australians through its very first National Autism Strategy. It includes 22 commitments focused on 4 key reform areas around social inclusion, economic inclusion, and even diagnosis. Now, this is all great news for those living with autism, but some disability advocates are concerned over the similarities to that of the Disability Royal Commission, which is still waiting for those changes to be implemented. River Knight is from Developing Australian Communities and is also a disability advocate who's got some thoughts on this one. G'day, River. Good to have you with us.
Hi, thanks, Annie. Look, a very interesting piece of work that's come out today. And as a man with autism myself, very interested to see what was in it.
Did you see this announcement coming, by the way?
Well, the announcement, we knew they were doing some work. They've been doing some projects around Australia on this sort of thing. But unfortunately, what we're seeing is a strategy that is a perfect strategy if you want to announce something, to appear to be doing something that's not going to cost a lot of money, not going to require a lot of work, but at least appear to be doing something. And unfortunately, the key things that $42 million is going towards are things that we already are doing here in Australia. And we're a little bit concerned on how that's going to roll out, like looking at creating things from scratch when we already have them as a waste of those taxpayer dollars. And that's the real worry that we have right now with this strategy. There's not a lot of what are we actually going to do.
How does Australia compare to other developed nations around the world when it comes to having a strategy to support people living with autism?
Well, the UK is probably one of the big leaders, I think, in terms of, services coordinated together, building on the work that's been done. In Australia, we seem to keep coming up with wanting to reinvent the wheel instead of using that literature. So, looking at the autism strategy, we've got things like, 4 main things where we're looking at encouraging Australians to be nicer and more inclusive, which is lovely, but I guess that's a PR program, which is going to be ads-based. We're looking at spaces that are sensory friendly, which is a real tricky one. There was a great discussion on ABC giving the example of having a hospital waiting room with an attached sensory friendly area. And to be perfectly honest, if I go to an emergency department, I want more nurses and doctors. I'm not looking for a sensory friendly space to wait. I want to get in and out. So, for me as a taxpayer, I'd be looking at investment in nurses and doctors before having an extra room that has to be run for people with autism, even as someone with autism myself, and they're talking about, creating new assessment tools. These people obviously have never been to university. It takes decades of academic